Now, let's move on to the final part of the text, the future prospect. In the final part, the author shows the remarkable progress made by some autistic patients, affirming that their voices will offer new clues to their conditions. We're going to look at the writing skills employed by the author in this part. Let's take this sentence. To have a lively intelligence trapped in a body that makes it difficult for others to see that the lights are on. Here, how do you understand the phrase, the lights are on? It is a metaphorical saying. The sentence means to appear retarded and awkward while in fact being intelligent. The lights are on is a metaphorical saying meaning intelligent. And actually, the author is using figure of speech here. After extensive and serious writing about autism, the author uses this figure of speech to enrich her writing. Finally, some information about the author. Yes, the author, Claudia Wallace, is a writer and editor for Time magazine, and this article is a cover story on Time. Considering the diversified readership, Wallace relaxed a bit in her tone for the sake of appealing to the general readers. This is a picture of our author, Claudia Wallace. Now, can you find any other places that employs metaphor in the text? If you can, what are being compared? Here, I'd like to show you two more examples from paragraph 2. It wasn't until the fall of 2005 that the traffic finally began to flow in the other direction. I'd like to remind you the context. So previously, the writer is telling the reader that the parents and the therapists and teachers of Hannah are sending her truckloads of emotional support. So here, traffic flow is a metaphorical saying of giving somebody emotional support. And the sentence tells us that in the fall of 2005, Hannah finally responded to the teachers, parents, and the therapists. She finally began to communicate to them and also giving them emotional response. Another example of metaphor is how many other autistic kids, Mazanich wonders, are living in a well where no one else can hear them. Living in a well is also a metaphor, meaning that the children are confined within their own limits and their own little world, unable to reaching out to their peers or their parents or the teachers or anyone around them. So by using figure of speech, the author makes her writing much more effective and vivid and more powerful. And I think you guys can also put this figure of speech into your writing and empower your own writing. Children with any subtype of autistic spectrum disorders have a hard time interacting with other people. About 40% of children with an ASD do not talk at all. Typical symptoms also include repetitive and restricted behaviors. If not allowed to do their own routines, they might show severe frustration and tantrums, and in extreme cases, become violent. So, based on what you have learned in the text and this background information, I'd like you to think about this question. Do you think parents of autistic children who are profoundly disabled should try to teach the kids skills he needs to survive and keep him close, or send him to a mental hospital? I think this is a question of realistic relevance because there are just so many autistic children in the world, and many families are struggling in terms of how to love these children and how to teach these children. And I think I want you to ponder on this question and write an essay on this topic. Here's a writing task for today. You should first state your own opinion on this issue and then present some arguments for your opinion. Try to use the terms and expressions you've learned and the figure of speech from the last part of the class to make your writing more effective. Please write no less than 200 words. Since autism is such an immense and profound and complicated topic, the discussions about autism can never be exhausted in one single class. So here are some recommendations for you guys to check out after class. 3 books and 2 websites. The first book is The Loving Push: How Parents and Professionals Can Help Spectrum Kids Become Successful Adults by Temple Grandin and Deborah Moore. Temple herself was also diagnosed as autistic, and she later became a very famous medical professor. And you can find out her TED Talk. It is very inspiring. And the second book I'd like to recommend to you is Autism Breakthrough: The Groundbreaking Method That Has Helped Families All Over the World. And the third book, 10 Things Every Child with Autism Wishes You Know. The 2 book introduces the knowledge the parents with autistic children should be equipped with in order to better raise these kind of children. And I think the general public should also try to find out more about autism by reading these books and be more autism friendly. And the 2 websites I like to recommend to you are one from CDC and the other from Autism Speaks. These are thought by the field as authoritative source of information. Thank you and see you next time.